Hey everyone, welcome back. So today we're gonna try something a bit different. We're gonna start a new video series about all the different ways to expose or access our homeland from the internet. The reason is mainly because there's tons of options out there and I feel like it's not talked enough on YouTube. Especially the security part, which is most important. Almost everyone just assumes it's secure, which isn't always the case. So make sure to hit the like button, subscribe and share, and let's get started. Okay, so how to do it? To expose our Homelab, there are 5 main ways. Secure tunnels like Cloudflare, reverse proxies like ngx, traditional VPNs like WireGuard or OpenVPN protocols, Mesh VPNs like Zero Tier and Tailscale, and lastly the old classic port forwarding or NAT. So let's break down each one of them quickly to understand the differences. First, secure tunnels like Cloudflare. This is often defined as a secure tunnel to access your app without exposing your IP, making remote access easy. It's also fairly easy to set up. However, by default it's not secured enough and solely rely on your app security, but this can be improved. We'll cover this later in another video. Next, reverse proxies like Nginx. It's a server that sits in the middle and forward requests to your Homelab, helping you manage multiple services under one domain. While adding another layer of protection, you will have more control over your services and how to manage them. However, it exposes your IP and you must open a port on your router to access it. Next, traditional VPNs like WireGuard or OpenVPN. It creates an encrypted tunnel between your device and your Homelab, making it feel like you are on the same local network. It's great for privacy and security, but only useful when you are the only user, because it's not possible to share access without sharing your private key to other users. Next, Mesh VPNs like Zero Tier or Tailscale. This is similar to normal VPNs, except it connects devices between each other instead of connecting them to a central server. It has more control over normal VPNs in the way that you can choose which devices to share, but you must manually join the network each time for each device you want to give access to. Finally, NOT. This is a classic way of opening specific ports on your router to expose your Homelab. It's simple, but it also carries high security risk if you rely on it alone. Keep in mind, NOT often gets used with other methods like previously showed, but going purely port forwarding is a no-go for secure setups. Now, you may be wondering, what's the most secure setup to expose your Homelab? Actually, it depends on your apps and what you want to do. In my opinion, it's not about which method you use, but more about how you combine between them. The best setup is to mix them and make them work all together to have the perfect setup. Okay, so first let's go to cloudflare.com, go to sign up, then free, add a website, and let's create a new account now. After that, if you already have domain, enter it here, or for me I'm just gonna create a new domain. For some reason I got an error while trying to pay, so I'm just gonna import an existing domain. I'm just gonna type it here. Okay, so then go down and choose the free package. Next, click on continue to activation. Confirm. Next, we need to do some modifications. We need to modify the current name servers with Cloudflare name servers to allow Cloudflare to control the domain. To do that, we go to the domain provider. In my case, it's Namecheap. So in my case, I'm gonna do custom DNS, and then I copy both name servers, and then I save. It tells you that it can take up to 48 hours, but it's not true. It's just few seconds or few minutes max. But just in case, if it takes a long time to update, this is normal, so just wait. There is no other choice. Okay, so after a while we get this page. This means everything is good. Now we go to the access page and then launch Zero Trust, which is our account. Next we go to access. Next we choose team name, just anything, like for me. Then we choose the free package, of course. There is zero payment. Next we go to networks, tunnels, and we add the tunnel. We choose this one, Cloudflared. We name our tunnel Homelab test. Next, it will ask you to choose your environment. In this case, you just choose Docker, and then we just copy the command. Because we just need the token. We don't need to run it in Docker. Then we go back to TrueNAS, and we install the Cloudflared app. This one. And here we paste what we had, and we just keep remove everything. We just keep the token. So anything before this goes. That's it. We don't need to set up anything else. Even storage, it's not necessary. And we install. Okay, now it's up and running. Let's go back to the Cloudflare platform. Now we need to wait until we get something here in connectors. It will automatically search. Here we go. It's connected. So now we can continue. Next. Now we are ready to add our first service. Let's start by adding TrueNAS itself. So let's just copy the IP. Then we choose subdomain, TrueNAS. We choose domain. Then we choose HTTP. And then the IP. There is nothing specific to add here. Let's save. To test this, I'm gonna disconnect from the VPN because I'm not at home. I'm connected to my home VPN, so I'm just gonna deactivate it and try this to show that, like, if I try to go to the same IP, it's not gonna work because I disconnected from the VPN. And if I try the domain, the new domain, it works. So now TrueNAS is accessible from the outside, but this is not recommended. Of course, if you wanna expose something, just expose apps individually, don't expose the whole thing. So for now I'm just gonna delete it, and then I'm gonna add something else. Okay, now I wanna add another service, maybe Proxmox. Let's go to add the public host name, Proxmox, same thing. Here gonna choose HTTPS, not HTTP, and then the IP, as well as the port, which is 8006. And then we go to additional settings, TLS, and we enable no TLS verify to not check certificates. Okay, now let's save. Let's try again now. Nice, now it works. I will disconnect the VPN and refresh, and it still works. Okay, now before finishing the video, let's do a last service, which is paperless. Since we already covered this in a previous video, we're gonna see how to expose this. Why did I choose paperless? Because it's a bit tricky to set up. It's not as simple as adding the host name. So you'll see, first we just add the hostname, of course. Same thing as always, HTTPS, and then we take the URL, which is the IP and port. It uses HTTP, not HTTPS. Save hostname. So first it's gonna work normally if we try to access. Alright. But the problem is when you try to log in, you get this error, CSR verification failed. Why? We need to change some settings to make it access this. According to the documentation, we need to set this environment variable paperless URL and set it to the domain name we use in Cloudflare. So let's do that. Go to paperless, edit, and let's just add it as an environment variable here. Paperless URL, set it to paperless.yourdomain. Make sure to add HTTPS at the beginning. That's it. Update. In case you got stuck in deploying, which was the case for me, I'm not sure why, but the container paperless just stuck like this for a long time. So what I did is stop this instance and create another instance using the already created the datasets. So you're not gonna lose anything of your files. So let's start another instance. Let's call it paperless Cloudflare. You can change a password if you want. By the way, you can choose any secret key you want, just random stuff. You don't need to remember it. You can add an email, just a fake email. Password. Now we add again the environment variable, paperless URL, HTTPS, paperless dot your domain, and then we add the other host path, paperless. This is the data. Let's copy this, and now media, and then consume. A trash, and this is Postgres. Make sure to check automatic permissions. And then we hit install. Let's wait a little bit. It works, but it takes some time. Okay, now it's running. Let's start it. First, let's get the IP. Let's get the port. The IP is the same. Go back to Cloudflare. Edit. I'm gonna put the new port. Save. Let's try now. Log in with your password. And now it works. We don't get the error, the previous error. And as you can see, we still have the documents as before, so we didn't lost anything. You can still download documents. Open them. And everything works fine. That's it. Basically, this is how to expose your services on the cloud. To recap, when you want to expose your app, this is how it works. You don't access your app directly, but rather you access the cloud server, Cloudflare server. Cloudflare will make exchanges with your LAN network through Cloudflare, and then it will give access to your app. This way, you don't access your app directly, which means you don't expose your IP and you don't go through the NAT. You don't need to open a port. But be careful, if your app is insecure and you get hacked, you directly expose all of your Homelab. It doesn't matter if you use Cloudflare or not. Like and share if you made it this far. See you in the next video.